All right, for example 4, we're going to do some math with some complex numbers and we're going to have to change them into standard form. So for A, it tells us it wants to take the square root of -3 times the square root of -12. The first thing I'm going to show you is what not to do. No. At first glance you think -3 times -12 is 36, square root of 36 is 6. And that does not work. Not valid, since both are negative. Do not do this. This is what you should do instead. Here, we'll put it in red so it stands out a little bit. What you should do is say that, okay, square root of 3, -3 is I square root of 3. And then what you do is square root of -12 is I square root of 12. And so this becomes I squared times the square root of 36 when I multiply. Okay, or square root of 36 I squared. I squared is -1, square root of 36 is 6, and so the answer is -6, and that is the proper way to do that one. Okay, moving on to example B. It's square root -48 minus square root -27. Well, first thing we got to do is see if there's any perfect squares in 48. So we're going to take, it's going to be square root -1 times square root of 16 times square root of 3. Why? Because -1 times 16 times 3 is -48. Since it had a negative, I had to use -1. And 48 can be 16 times 3. I chose 16 times 3 because 16 is a perfect square. And then minus for square root 27, -27, you guessed it, -1 first. And then for square root for 27, it's 9 times 3, so square root 9 times square root 3. So this simplifies into square root of -1 is I, square root of 16 is 4, so that becomes 4 square root 3I minus square root of 9 is 3, square root 3 stays the same, square root of -1 is also I. And since I have square root 3I, square root 3I for both of them, 4 minus 3 is 1, square root 3I, and so the answer is square root 3I. Okay. For C, example 3C, it says take the -1 plus the square root of -3 and square it. Just to make this one seem a little bit easier for you, I'm going to go ahead and write this out as -1 plus square root -3 times -1 plus square root -3. Do distributive property or FOIL pattern, whatever you want to call it. -1 times -1, -1 times -square root 3, so -square root -3. Positive square root -3 times -1 is minus the square root of -3. And square root -3 times square root -3 is going to be plus 3 because square root 3 times square root 3 is 3. Like that. Oh, okay, I lied. That's not quite right. -3 times -3. Let's work this out here to the side. Square root -3 times square root -3 is going to be I square root 3 times I square root 3. So it's going to be I squared times square root 9. And so -1 times 3 or -3. So for this last part where I take square root 3 times square root 3, I'm going to put -3. 1 minus 3 is -2. And square root -3 minus square root -3 is going to give me -2 square root -3. And now, to make the math even more fun, square root -3 is -1 times 3. So my final answer turns out to be -2, which is here. Then minus 2 square root 3I. And I get that because this right here becomes square root 3I. Final answer. Have you guys try one on your assignment? Try number 63. I'm going to write it down for you. If you press pause, see if you can figure it out before you check the right answer. It's a lot like example B. Alright, press pause, then come back, see if you got the right answer. So on this one I'm thinking -1 times 9 times 2, those are all square roots. And for the second one, for 54, I'm thinking 9 times 6, so -1, square root 9, square root 6. So 3 square root 2i minus 3 square root of 6i. I noticed that this is square root 2, this is square root 6, so they can't be combined. So this answer would be okay. If you check in the back of the book, they have 3 times square root 2i minus square root 6i, like that. And that just comes because both these have a 3, so it's like a common factor. So the answer, either one of these two, is acceptable.